Is the Fred, is the 1 o'clock on or no one's on yet?
I see someone in the waiting room, and all I see is the name Jennifer.
Donna Warmer is supposed to be next, right?
Oh, Brenda Lane.
Or Brenda Lane. Where do I have her? Is that what this, what's this other one from Matt? The photo. Oh yeah, that's it. It's hard to read. It's so small.
Sometimes we take what we're given and we transmit so many times.
Yeah, I'm not blaming anybody. It just,
No, absolutely. I think this one was taken with a phone.
looks like it.
We're like, we'll take it.
17 Buttonwood.
So there's no supporting documentation with this application matter, it's just the grievance form itself?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, unless they send it after. It really depends on when they, when they send everything, which again, if there's nothing that like I have attached, more than likely, all of these, you'll see when you go through the back, you'll see I'll have like either comps attached or like a write-up. If I don't
Right.
have that, it's because we probably received it like, because we had Monday off, obviously. We received it Tuesday and we had like, of course, like 50 emails, 50 voicemails, 50 applications.
Sure.
So we just had to just get the applications in order.
There is a Brenda iPhone that's here now, along with
Yeah,
Jennifer.
Brenda would probably be Brenda Lane. I don't know who Jennifer is.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, here, yep,
Okay.
yeah, let's go.
Here comes Brenda.
Hi, Brenda. Can you hear us?
She's not connected yet. There she is.
Here we are. Except she's
You just have
muted.
to unmute yourself, Brenda, the bottom left-hand side. Do you see that on the bottom screen?
Gotcha. It should be.
There you go.
Okay,
Yeah, we can hear you now.
unmuted. Thanks.
Okay, so welcome. We're gonna get started. We have about 10 minutes to go through
Yep.
this. If we're still talking at 8 minutes, I will let you know that at 8-minute mark, and then again at
Okay.
30 seconds. Let's start off with an oath, and then we'll hear your agreements.
Okay.
You solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get started. Tell us about your grievance and
So I was a little surprised when I saw how much the value of the house was going up. I tried to sell it last year for the first time, and I had we put a 750 price tag on it. They were guessing that maybe it would sell at that. I only had a couple of buyers come through. I mean, my house there's nothing wrong with it. It's in perfect condition. I take well care of it. And we couldn't get anyone. They said it was priced too high. So my realtor at the time had lowered it to $699,888, some weird number. And still, I didn't get anyone to come look at it. They wouldn't even look at it. It was priced too high according to them. So when I saw the market value going up to the 800s, that would be great if somebody were willing to actually agree with you guys and say, hey, yeah, the houses here are worth that much. I'm relisting my house this coming week, and the new realtor I have, who's from Rhinebeck, familiar with Rhinebeck, says the most I could maybe get, and that's hoping someone from the city who wants to get a place up here to escape the next round of COVID, if there is one, said that the highest they could get would be 725. So again, it's nowhere near the 846, I believe, is the amount that it's being reassessed at. I just think it's not a fair value at all, based on the fact that even with comps, you can't sell it at that price. It's not a value, it's not an accurate price, is my feeling. And I think it's unfair to jump it up almost, I think it's 175,000. I don't care that it wasn't valued in the last few years. It's still not worth that much.
Let me ask you,
Sure.
are you saying that you think that the comparable properties that were used in the assessment would not sell for the prices that those properties were assessed for?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And none of them were, from 2020 or the end of 2019. I know it's called a seller's market, but we really found that it wasn't. That people came in and they're not willing to spend the money. And it's going to hurt me if, someone sees that big a price tag and I'm still selling it for 150 less than that. And that's the asking price. That's not even what I'll get for it. So yeah, I don't think those houses would sell for that today.
Brenda, just give me some information, please. Basic information. How many bedrooms and baths?
4 bedrooms and 2.5 baths.
And how much acreage?
I have 3.
When was it built?
1998, December of 1998. I built it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, that's all I've got.
Okay. I met with the guy from your company you hired, and he was supposed to get back to me with a number that he thought, or some comparable number, and I never heard back from him. Just so you know, I didn't know if you were aware of that.
No, we weren't. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
No, so will you decide, will you change it? And how will I know if you do?
Yeah, so in the next couple of weeks, we will deliberate as a committee and we'll get back to the town. The town will send out a letter with our findings early July.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening to me. I'm a little stressed over this. I'm not gonna lie. It's a large increase.
Thank you, Brenda,
Thank you.
for coming today. Or showing up, I should say. Okay.
Oh, of course. I stick to what I make. If people don't show up, that's just rude.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Looks like I have a Donna. I have a Donna and a Jennifer in the waiting room.
Can you let Jennifer's the assistant that's been working with the town throughout the project. Can you let her in? I forgot to tell you that.
Okay.
No late arrivals, Matt.
Yeah, yeah, no later on. Not allowed.
And Donna would be your next appointment.
Yep.
I'm ready for her if you guys are.
I'm ready. Welcome, Jennifer.
No. Oh, hi, Jennifer. Hi, Donna.
Donna's got to unmute. Bottom left of the Zoom window, Donna. The bottom left, there's a unmute.
She's
Mute button.
unmuted. I
There you
did.
go.
There you go. Can you hear us, Donna?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So you ready to get started, Donna?
I am, and do you have a procedure?
We do. I'm going to read an oath that you can agree to, and then we have 10 minutes to go through your grievance. I'll give you an 8-minute warning if we're still discussing it at that point, and then another 30-second to the end warning. Okay.
Thank you.
Do you solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
I do so swear.
Okay, let's get started. Tell us about your grievance.
Yes, I did submit a grievance form with an addendum. It's a one-pager that provides the data. I don't know if you would have looked at it yet. By the way, thank you all for the work that you're doing. This must be a great big job this year. What I want to say is that Tyler Technologies did use comps that I felt were not particularly comparable. That was my first point. I really have 3 points because they were rather grand or larger later period Victorians on Chestnut South and Montgomery, some of which are fairly substantial. And I did suggest other comps that were more in line with a worker cottage on Beach Street. I live on Beach Street, and this is an older section of town. So the house I have, for example, does not have 2 stories plus an attic. It's much smaller in proportion and quality. So I did suggest some others closer to home here. The second is that Tyler did make an adjustment already because they classified this as an excellent condition and did change it to good. I'm not sure how this happens because the exterior of my house is actually reverted to 1860 boards and trim. And if you look closely, I mean, they understood that later. It may look okay until you look at it. And I have a stacked stone foundation. So one adjustment was made. However, when I went back later and looked at the new assessments in my neighborhood, what I saw was that mine still appears to be out of line with homes that are of comparable size with much larger lot lines. And these are a number of homes on Beach Street and the intersecting east end of Livingston Street, which you can see there. These are homes, they're all in somewhere in the 400s or the high 4s. There's one particular house that really concerned me that there may have been different people rating these homes. 73 Livingston Street, this is a question of quality, is a house that has been done top to bottom, exterior, interior, completely redone, much larger with a larger lot with excellent materials, and yet it's assessed at $494,000. So I guess that's my question is how do I consider an assessment of $560,000 when looking at also another house that has actually very high quality and it's completely renovated? My exterior of my house is still 1864 except for the windows. So the only other thing I really want to say is I would like to see the assessment be more in line with my neighborhood and have a rational basis, which I couldn't figure out because the gentleman who heads up Tyler said when he puts certain data into his program, there's so many variables spinning around that he couldn't explain what proportion of an assessment is attributed precisely to what. So is it, so I have an undersized lot. It would not be a qualified lot in under today's code. So I have those questions. It appears in the list, which I don't want to go over all of it with you, is that from that list and showing all of the data there for all of these homes, I felt that my house is overassessed and would be more in alignment at a lower level, approximately 510. I didn't even put it under 5 to look like the rest of the list there. So I do have a garage. So the only other thing I wanted to point out is something happened next door. 21 Beach Street right next door to me is probably a tear down. And yet it got assessed at $559,000. And it is a big lot, but it is under agreement for under 350 right now. So I'm looking at these several, the 2 in particular I'm mentioning, and saying, I think there just seems to be noise in the system. And I don't know, I don't really have anything else to say. If you have any questions for me, I think I put what I thought was a fair set of data points here, and I'll leave it to you.
Does anybody have any questions for Donna?
By the way, my house was rehabbed in 2012, not on the outside as much as the inside. And I did change my card back in 2013 to reflect central air conditioning and factors like that. So, and a garage. So my card is as it should be. I just want to let you know.
Donna, what size is that garage? Is it the original one-car garage?
There was no garage here. It's a one-car garage.
One-car garage?
Yep.
Thank you.
And it's actually, they also, Tyler also shrank my house, which I suppose is a good thing, but what used to be 1897 square feet and it's now 1777, which is fine.
Okay, I think that's all I have.
Okay, so Donna, the process is that we will deliberate over the next couple of weeks and we will get back to you sometime in July. The town will send out a letter early July.
I appreciate your consideration. Thank you all very much.
Donna?
Goodbye.
Bye, thank you.
I can't, I'm trying to exit. Here we go.
Don't call us names.
Okay, I have two people in the waiting room, Noreen Chase, and a telephone number 876-4773.
The phone number is the number we have on the form for Juliana.
Julianne? Okay, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Hello, who do we have on the phone?
Juliana Clark, 564 Mill Road, Rhinebeck, New York, of course.
Hi, welcome.
Okay, and whom am I speaking with, please?
This is Steve, Gina, Lisa, John, and Linda. We're the
Okay, so I have the board on right now. Do you have all the paperwork I sent through to Matt?
Yes,
we do.
ma'am.
We do.
You do
So,
have it on. Okay, so it virtually
So,
I
before we get
apologize
started-
again for having
Sorry.
to have written it, but I didn't have a printer available. I pretty well explained my approach here. When I was sent the comps by Matt, I realized what he did. He just went looking for comps that were pricing along the same line as mine. So what I endeavored to do was go back and look at the area I'm in and take the homes that are more closely associated with mine. I have included the map, of course, and one of the most significant ones would be the one that is my neighbor. So I
Okay.
am requesting a reevaluation and a new look at this assessment, at my assessment, not theirs, obviously.
Okay, so before we go any further, let's just start out with an oath that we're required to ask you. So do you solemnly?
Sorry, I didn't quite understand that. Could you speak a little louder?
Sure, we're going to start out with an oath that you need to agree to before we go any further, if that's okay.
An oath?
Yep. Do you solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Absolutely, yes.
So why don't you walk us through some of these comps that you have pictures of in your grievance form?
Okay, They're all within, well, one is exactly my neighbor, basically a neighbor. Borders, there's a slight land piece between us, but we're basically neighbors. And we have basically the same situation. They're both landlocked, except their property, they have more acreage, more square footage of the house. It's a newer house built in the 80s with more amenities. Mine, as you've read here, is a converted garage and is a very humble setting here. No great amenities, no air conditioning in the house, 1/3 basement. So in other words, I felt that was a fairly good comp. And they're assessed at $469 and $900, I think. And then just up the road, about a half a mile up the road, are two houses. One being the old Morton Schoolhouse, which is an A.J. Davis design. And that sold back in 2012, I believe. Yes, I think that was what I said it did, yeah. Anyway, for $406,000 and is assessed at $331. It has been totally upgraded. It's a beautiful home now. The studio, double car garage. It's absolutely lovely. And then right across the street would be another house. And that would be a converted Tudor. It was remodeled. And they paid $500,000 within the last 10 years. And that's assessed also much lower than the market value was. Now, so that's basically where I'm going. I'm saying doesn't seem to be consistent or fair the way this assessment was, my assessment was done. And I would like to have that looked at again by this board, of course, obviously.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Juliana, do you in fact have a river view of any kind?
Yes, but I can't control it. I don't own the land. I do not go down to the river. So does my neighbor. Partial river view as well. I have more of a river view. They have partial river views. It's opening up more because there has been more construction in front of my neighbor. So his river view is opening up more and is no longer seasonal. As you perhaps are familiar with, and whom am I speaking with, please?
This is Gina Fox.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, you're downriver, or upriver from me, basically. You're just, I believe, on Morton Road as well. So you know the layout up here. And, but again, if I go to sell my property, I cannot guarantee anybody they're going to have that view. If my neighbor decides to say, there's no more clearing, that view disappears. So I have no control over that. I am a landlocked piece of land here. And I think that's very significant. And it's all a matter of what you want to look at. I mean, the views from the schoolhouse are beautiful fields. The other house goes down to Landsman's Kill. There are lots of things that people look for. Certainly the river is one of them. But there are many, many beautiful views in the Hudson Valley. And I thought we were assessing a house. And that, I would assume, is what we're looking at here.
Okay, I think that answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the process is that over the next week or two, we will deliberate as a board and give our decision to the town, and the town will send out a letter to you early July.
All right, that's great. And in addition to this, I'd like to thank you all, the 5 of you. I know this is a voluntary position, and I really thank you. You're not in an enviable position for sure. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So I still have Noreen Chase, but I also have Bob Lemkowitz.
Yeah, that's the next one.
Well, do we have time to ask Noreen Chase who she is?
Yeah, yes, we have 5 minutes.
Well, why does everyone want to do that or not take her at all? What's she doing here?
No,
Both of-
she's on the complaint with Lemkowitz. It's the same complaint.
Oh, okay.
Oh, got it. Okay.
All right, okay, yep. Good
So we're
catch.
good to go.
So we'll let them both in when you're ready. Tell me when.
East Market.
We ready?
Yeah.
Okay, letting them both in. Yep.
Fred. Too close. That's the problem with two of them. You can't have two. No, they're close to each other. There's feedback.
Okay.
You gotta shut your sound.
So I turned it off, right?
No good. Your iPad is next to mine. That's the problem. Right.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey,
Bob, I think on the bottom of your screen on the left-hand side, just hit the unmute button.
The what button, sir?
Unmute on the bottom left.
Or if you're on an iPad, it'll be along the left-hand margin.
I got it.
Excuse me, the upper margin.
You have
There's
it?
a micro. There you go.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Okay, so before we get started, there is a quick oath that you need to agree to, and then we have about 10 minutes to go through your grievance. I'll give you a warning at 8 minutes if we're still talking, and then again with a 30-second warning. Okay?
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's get started. Tell us why you're here.
Well, I kind of thought that the value, I just lost you guys. Hello?
Yes, we're here.
Okay, gotcha.
I can hear you.
I had a review with Tyler Technology back in February, and I showed them one, what do you call it? A comp. And he said, my goodness, he says, how did that happen? So that led me to believe that I should go and investigate a few more and see where I stand in relation to other homes such as mine, square footage, amount of rooms, bedrooms, plot, and see the variance in our values, which I think I presented to you in this package.
Okay, so you want to walk us through some of those comparisons?
Yes, do you have the photographs?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, well, the first one is with my neighbor's house at 119 East Market. You got that?
I see 115. Oh, here's 119. Yeah.
Yes, they're compared one photo against the other. Well, originally, the valuation of my house was $699,300, and the 119 was $697,800, which is a $1,500 difference. However, the square footage of mine, as you see, is 2179. His is 3223. So based on that, Tyler reduced our value by $50,000, with the conversation ending in his saying, I don't know how that happened. So because of that, I proceeded to get a few more comps, which you might have in front of you. Do you have them?
Yes.
The first one I have is 35 North Parsonage.
Mhm.
Yeah. Again, in square footage, I'm 2179 and he is 2720. He has 4 bedrooms, I have 3, 2.5 baths versus 3. Kitchen's okay. The difference is 110,200. Okay? Do we have that?
Yep.
Okay, the next is 37 Chestnut. Got that one?
Yep.
Okay, again, my value is 650, his is 587. Comparing footage, we have, again, 2179. His is 2600. 2 stories versus my 1.5 stories with low ceilings. Bedrooms, well, I have one more bathroom, but the difference here is 63,500. And now I will go to the next, which is a house on my street, East Market Street, 132. Got that one?
Mhm.
Okay, my valuation after Tyler reduced me is 650,800. His valuation is 522. Living space, we're almost equal. I have 79 more square feet. I have a slightly bigger piece of property, which I was told doesn't mean anything. And the value difference is $180,000, which I find is kind of extraordinary, if I can use that word. We have 2 more. Would you want to go through the next 2, folks?
Sure.
Okay. The other one is at 98 East Market. Valuation in mine, 650. Valuation in theirs, 522. That's a 2 or 3 family home. Same plot. Difference in valuation is 128,700. They have 3 baths and 3 kitchens based on the information on the Dutchess County partial access. The last one, and I'm not going to bore you with any more than this one, we have 78 Livingston Street. Our valuation, again, is 658. Theirs is 507.4. Our square footage, 2179. Theirs, 2696. Larger plot. We have 3 bedrooms. They have 4. We have 3 baths. They have 1.5. Okay. Kitchen's the same. Difference is 143,400. So I love living in this town. I want to preface this by saying I love living in this town. I lived upstate in Liberty during the Second World War, and I always wanted to come back, and I love Rhinebeck. I have no gripes about paying taxes at all. My only concern is getting an explanation to why the variance in valuations with details of the home being equal. So having gotten that answer from you guys, I'll be very happy.
Well, Steve, you want to explain how the answer will come?
Yeah, so we will deliberate over the next couple of weeks and give our answer to the town, and the town will generate a letter that will go out to you in early July.
Okay. Is there anything else? Go ahead.
Did you have, what improvements have you made since you've had the house?
Well, we put on an extra piece of 1,000 feet back about 16 years ago.
About 800 square,
800 square feet.
maybe 1,000 feet.
Yeah. The other question I have was, our kitchen is not really a kitchen. It's a galley. It's tiny. It's only about 3 feet 2 inches walking space by 11 feet long. So I wouldn't even call it a kitchen.
Not a full kitchen.
Not a full kitchen. And there's no way you can put down half kitchen or galley. So
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for Bob? Okay, so again, we'll get back to you in early July with a letter.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I think you did. Nobody could have done better. I'll tell you that much. You did, especially, he was very, very,
The only thing,
I know.
I wanted to hear the end of that sentence.
What was the only thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll never,
I'm just gonna hop out for a minute. I'll be right back.
I'm just gonna send all of you it's the New York State data collection manual for residential properties so that you can kind of breeze through it. It will explain like differences in condition, grade, and basically it outlines the whole property record card so that you can kind of flip through and see different styles of homes and how they're determined. This way, you look at it on your own time and when you deliberate as well.
No one in the waiting room.
Hey, does anyone have a sense of what our day like is gonna be on Saturday when I have the dentist at 10 in the morning? But do we know if we're starting in the morning or afternoon yet?
We're starting at 11.
Starting at 11, so I'll get there just as soon as I can. You have enough to start without me?
I think so.
Okay. So I'll just jump in as soon as I get back.
We have appointments on Saturday from 11 to noon and from 1 to 2 o'clock. So you only have 2 hours worth so far.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that is good. Okay, then I'll just get there as soon as I can.
And after 9 p.m. tonight, it all gets closed down.
Oh, good.
So nobody else can make more appointments.
Okay, good.
Yes, dear. No, not right this second. I'm free. Let me mute myself.
Hey, Matt. Marie Trombini, you told her you would call her.
I have one person in the waiting room from a phone number, 845-516-4943.
That's Marie Trombini.
That's Marie.
Yes, that's her.
Let me know when you're ready.
Let's wait till Gina gets back.
Okay.
Are we ready? Is Gina back?
I'm back. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
You want me to go ahead, Steve?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Hello?
Hi, is this Marie?
Yes, it is.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going to have about 10 minutes. I'll give you a warning at 8 minutes if we are still discussing, and then again for 30 seconds at the end. To start, we have a quick oath that we'd like you to agree to. So it says,
Okay.
do you solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, great. So let's get started. Tell us about your grievance and why you're here.
Okay. I have submitted papers for two. One was a vacant lot, and the other was a lot with a house on it.
Yes.
I'm looking for some adjustment to the vacant lot due to the fact that it's a flagged piece of property, landlocked on all sides. It's really too small to build on without a variance. Doesn't have any water, sewer, no sort of hookups.
Do you have any other parcels of land that you would compare this to?
Yes, I submitted an Excel spreadsheet that had other properties listed on it.
Yep.
Okay, so can you talk us through some of those?
Two that were close happened to be at Locust Grove. I'm a 0.16 of an acre, and the ones at Locust Grove were 0.19 and 0.20. And the 1.9 was assessed at 10,600, and the 0.20 was assessed at 11,100, as opposed to me being at the 0.16 and 23,100.
Okay.
There was also a 0.84 at Will Tremper Drive that was in for 30,200. And again, I'm 0.16 at 23,100.
Marie, what was the assessment on the land before the reassessment occurred?
I think it was 8,400.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Marie. I'm good with that.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
The second one is the property that has the house on it at 9 Prospect Street. And I went through several houses in the village and submitted Excel sheets showing how much, I sorted the Excel sheet by square footage, and really until you get anything close to it, my house is being assessed at, you have to be in the more than 3,000 square foot range. And then there's only a few houses at that, and the rest are still below me. I looked at several recent sales in the village, and I submitted a sheet on those also.
Mhm.
And again, my house is substantially assessed higher than those recent sales. I looked at the houses that are on Prospect Street, you know, my neighbors, and similar square footage to one. The other house has more square footage, and still I'm substantially over what they're being assessed. And I looked at some houses that were in the border between the village and the town. You know, when I looked them up on the real estate websites, they indicated they were, you know, within walking distance or close to the Rhinebeck village. And again, I'm substantially overassessed for all of those. I looked at multifamily homes, and I'm assessed higher than those. I submitted a spreadsheet on those also. And some of the roads I was a little confused, like Knollwood Road in particular, and I think Crosmore was another one. Oh, Wine Coop Lane. They seem to like start in the village and then roll over to the town, and I'm assuming there must be some sort of difference between town and the village, because it looks like some of the town ones went down in assessment, but the village ones went up in assessments. I submitted a spreadsheet on those also. I looked at the comps that Tyler Technologies did, and some of them I had discrepancies when I looked up the square footage for those. So I submitted a spreadsheet and information typed up on those. I also didn't see any breakout in the comps, that sheet that I was provided, that indicated there might be any trouble trying to sell a modular home because of stigma that people have. So I looked some of that information up, and I typed it up, a couple of paragraphs on that. I also looked at other ways to do assessments as opposed to the square footage type model that Tyler Technologies seemed to use, where they listed what a value is if you have like an extra bathroom or a half bath or an extra room in your house, or the fact that landscaping sometimes adds value to the house. And I typed up a sheet and submitted that also. I think that's all the papers I sent in.
I'm good, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Me
Anybody else have any questions?
No.
Marie, the next step is that the board will get together and discuss and come up with a decision, and the town will send a letter out to you in early July.
not until early July.
Correct.
Okay. Because, okay. I'll just let my lawyer know that he'll expect it in early July then.
Okay,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
You.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Two people in the waiting room, a phone number and David Miller. Phone number is 876-3944.
That's John Ruland.
Okay, so that will be our next one when you're ready.
So is he at the same property as Juliana? Are they adjoining?
They're near each other, but they're not the same property and they're not adjoining.
Okay.
And they're brother and sister.
Oh, got it. Okay. Thank you, Donna.
Okay.
Thank you.
Valuable.
We ready?
Yep.
Hello, who do we
Hello? Hello?
have? Hi.
Hi,
Who's this?
this is John Ruland.
Hey, John.
Hi, John.
Yes, is this Gina?
This is Gina. Did you know my name, my voice?
Of course I do. You're actually a neighbor.
Well, there
Anyway,
you go.
yep, and Gina, it's my birthday today.
Hey, happy birthday, John.
Thanks. 5/27/41. I'm older than anybody sitting there.
You've got the whole board here. It's Steve Jenkins, Lisa, me, Linda, John.
Yeah. Okay, good. You have all my paperwork there in front of you?
We do. So let's just get started. We're going to have about 10 minutes to go through this. I'll
Well,
give
you
you
owe me a couple of minutes, you know.
Well,
We
we're
are 3 minutes past my time, you know.
Well, I haven't started the clock yet, so you still have your 10 minutes.
Oh, okay, thank you. And
So
this is
let-
John? John?
Okay.
Yeah, well, I think you've heard of Ruland before. You just talked to my sister.
Yeah. So let's get started with an oath. So do you solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
So help me God.
Okay, so your clock is starting now. So
Okay,
tell
John.
us about your grievance and what brings you here today.
Okay. This is property that I was brought up on. I lived here all my life, and my family gave me this little piece, and I was brought up in my sister's house there. And I'd like to go right away to Brian Woolsey. He's with Berkshire Hathaway, and he's 35 years in the business. He specializes in vacant land too. And let me read his letter there. You can read it with me regarding the 4-acre parcel located on Mill Road. Appreciate your time reviewing the maps and actually walking the parcel. Spent an hour on that with me walking the property. The assessment levied by the town of Rhinebeck is absolutely in error. The best way to defend the town's position would only be considering giving everyone the benefit of the doubt that a mistake has been made. Initially, as I arrived at the vacant parcel, I experienced a spectacular view. My research tells me different. The property's north border is your view line. Consequently, it's not mine to control. It's the neighbor's land. Furthermore, you're in the greenway and must adhere to the strict regulations put in place to keep our Hudson River views moving forward, nothing less than spectacular. But you are limited in what your trees you can remove, and I do not believe you are allowed to clear sufficiently to mimic your neighbor's view. So considering this, the most recent lance was here on 94 Morton Road, just down the road from you, Gina, 16 acres. after 321 days on the market for the sale price of $875,000. This yields a price per acre of $53,000. Now, doing the calculation of your 4 acres, you should see your assessment at no more than $213,000. Okay, now look at the tax map. I drew in the black marker, and what that is a drainage ditch coming across my neighbor on the north and cutting 3.5 acres almost right down the center. It's about 50 feet deep. And Gina,
Yeah.
you have that from Mike DeCola coming under Morton Road, right in the back of your house going down to the river.
Yeah, got it.
And I have that same thing with that property. And that's why it's really not desirable to build on. And also, the roadway, the 300 feet, that narrow strip, is only 75 feet wide. And we have 20-foot setbacks from 2 property lines there. So it's very hard to have to squeeze a trailer in there, and then septic and well, everything else. So, you know, it's a beautiful lot to hike on. It's a nature trail. And the foliage now blocks my view. And I don't want to get fined taking down any trees, because I know one of my neighbors who just built a house, and he was fined for logging the property. So I want to get into that. And other than that, you see what I'm assessed at. That's over 400% change from what I was assessed at, 109,000. And now I'm 539,000. And I live right across the street. If you look at the tax map, there's a right triangle almost. My driveway is right across this property, and I built a new house here, and I'm assessed with 2.5 acres, $50,000 less with a house on it. Then you want to hit me for this 4 acres on the, you know. So it has to be a mistake.
Okay, well, we appreciate all of your information that you gave us, John.
Well, I want to deal with facts, Gina, not emotion, you know what I'm saying? And I'm retired. And, you know, even, you know, I talked to Steve Rosenbaum, you know him, and he's with Scenic, you know, and even he doesn't want it. Scenic Hudson. Do you know Stephen Rosenbaum? Oh, Rosenberg. Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah, well, he worked it all over and everything, too. He's not even interested. I mean, you know, I don't mind if I can use it for the rest of my life and my family can. But right now, I think you can play with the numbers and you can see what Brian Woolsey, I'm sure you know him. A couple of you are in real estate, and you too, Gina.
Mhm.
Did John hang up?
No, it's dead silent there, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Hey, I think we've gone through all of your information. Steve, do you want to take it from here?
Sure, yeah, so we're going to deliberate over the next week or two, and the town will get back to you with a letter in early July with the decision.
All right, Steve. Okay, and I think I've covered all the bases. If you have any more questions, but I think you can see my point of view, can't you?
We'll have to take a look at it and we'll discuss it for sure.
Okay, I appreciate it. And I know you don't have a fun job, but I know you'll be fair with me.
Absolutely.
Good.
Thanks, John.
Appreciate it. Bye, Gina. See you soon. Yeah, bye.
Yeah, I have 3 people in the waiting room: David Miller, Ed, and 544-4136.
I don't know who that phone is, but
Yeah,
I don't know who the call-in is. But David Miller's the next one.
Yeah,
You want to put them on?
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Oop.
It says like you're almost for class, for your listing has expired. I don't know.
David, can you hear us?
Dave?
Yes,
Can you hear us?
yes, I can.
Okay, we can hear you. It sounds like we're good.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to get started with an oath. After that, we'll have 10 minutes to discuss your grievance. All right.
Okay.
So do you solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. So let's get started. Tell us about your grievance and why you're here.
Well, I sent a letter and some information to Mr. Sabia, and I sent another copy to Donna Van Voorhis yesterday to make sure you all had what I wrote to him. A couple of issues were, first, I refinanced 5 years ago to take advantage of the lower rates, and I was refinancing for 400,000, and you had to have at least 80% the value. So I was praying for 500, and the appraiser gave me 530. And I said,
I'm sorry, Mr. Miller, let me interrupt you. Did you say that you sent in a letter and, because all we have is your complaint, your grievance complaint, and a printout of comparables. Did you send in anything else than that, other than that?
I sent in a letter to Mr. Sabia. I sent the appraisal from 2015 for 530, and I sent in the RP, whatever that is. I sent it to Mr. Sabia a couple of weeks ago, and then Donna said, make sure you have copies just in case. And I mailed her the copies of the letter I sent to Mr. Sabia about 2 weeks ago. I didn't know.
Okay, we don't have the letter or the appraisal. Maybe the assessor thought provide that to us.
Yeah, I sent it to Donna and I sent it to Mr. Sabia 2 weeks ago. It was appraised for 530, and I also found some analysis on Zillow that said they estimated that Rhinebeck in the past 5 years went up 10%, and they estimated that New York City had gone up 28%. So I said, even if you gave me New York City rates, that would be 680 instead of the 786. And so I was quite upset that I was raised $329,000. And I also said in the letter that I see these cases all the time. I'm chairman of the planning board, and everything that goes on in the village I see. And I gave an example that the house a couple of doors down from me, 48 Mulberry Street, was purchased in 2016. They spent an enormous amount of money. And for the next 2 years, they came to the planning board with 3 revisions and had 12 guys working in there for 2 years. And their assessment was raised 50%, 48 Mulberry, and my assessment was raised 370%, which is $329,000. Now, I'd spoken to Elizabeth a while back, and she said she was doing this because a lot of wealthy people, and I see it in the village every single planning board meeting, they'll pay anything and they'll do anything to this. They've come and they put in guest houses, pools. One woman put in an elevator. Another one came in, they got approved for a pet station in the basement, a cat grooming room, a dog bath, and a dog grooming room. So there's no limit to the funds these people have. I understand what she was saying, but also you've caught up in this for long-time residents, especially people like me who's retired, living on fixed income, and just jacked up the assessment by these enormous amounts. And it's just not fair, which is why I applied. I've spoken with a lot of people around the village who feel that their assessment was raised, extremely high. And, this appraisal, which I wish you had a copy of, for 530 5 years ago, was done by Chase Bank. This is not by some fly-by-night organization. This was Chase, certified appraiser, and he assessed it at 530, and they gave me the mortgage. So I put down in the RP 524 complaint that it was just too excessively high. And that, I said, at least 100,000 less would make some kind of sense, even though that's still considerably higher than, what the assessment was. And you raised me 70% when nothing has been done to this house since the 1970s, when Dr. Klieger, a dentist, added a dining room, kitchen, and great room to it. And all I've done is paint the house and bought a washer and dryer when they broke. So what have I done compared to what was done at the house of Colton Johnson's old house on the corner of Mulberry and Livingston, which just sold for over $1 million, and this the Sussin house, which was the blue house at 40, the gray house at 48 Mulberry Street, that had this major renovation and was only raised 50% when I was raised 70%. And it's an insane amount of money. That's why I'm appealing to you. Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
So, Donna has this material, Mr. Sabia has this material. I know you're not making a decision today. I hope you have a chance to look at the letter that I wrote to Mr. Sabia and the appraisal. And you have the RP, whatever that is. I don't have any comps. I didn't send in comps, but comps are not the only thing to be taken into consideration. I did not spend millions of dollars for this house last year or the year before, and I did not put major renovations into it. As I said, as I see every 2 weeks at the planning board meetings, these people have unlimited resources to do whatever they want, and it is right on Elizabeth's part to try to level the playing field in terms of all these houses that have paid enormous prices for and done massive renovations. So that's justified. But attacking the long-term residents, senior citizens is just not right.
So David, we will get your letter and appraisal from Donna before we deliberate, which we'll do in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And the town will send out a letter to you in early July with the decision.
Okay, well, thank you very much for listening to me.
I have already forwarded everything to the board, and I have also printed a copy to have for deliberations, just so the board knows.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have an Ed in the waiting room and a telephone number 444-4136.
No, doesn't ring any bells.
I think Ed made.
That is the next one.
No, the next one is Sparks and Unger.
Well, I meant after this one.
Oh, okay.
Karen Unger is the next one I expected.
Yeah, Karen Unger, David Sparks, Daniel Sparks, sorry.
Okay.
Should we let the phone number in and find out who it is?
Yeah.
Sure.
Hello, who do we have on the line, please?
Yes, my name is Dan Sparks. I'm at 40 Chestnut Street.
Hey, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, how are you? I can't see you all, but I know there's a lot of people there.
As long as we can hear each other, I think we'll be in good shape.
Okay, so why don't I get started? We don't have a lot of time, I guess.
Let me just read an oath first before we get going.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Yes.
Okay, floor is all yours. Tell us about your
grievance. Yeah, now we did send some comps ahead of this. I'm assuming that you have those. I'll just mention that. And let me also mention that there's been no additions or enhancements to our property at all. You know, we've done some repairs and we painted the house, but they were done because it needed to be painted. But there's been no additions or enhancements. There's no insulation in the whole house at all, and we didn't replace any windows. And so that's that point I just wanted to mention. Let me also mention the values that were used for the assessed value. it should be as of 7/19, and a lot of the values that I do have from the from the company that did this went back 2 to 3 years, one in 3/8/17. So I'm just mentioning that not as of 7/19. Some of them went back 2 or 3 years, 2018, 2016. So what I did is I went to Zillow today, just because that's 1 year ahead, since we were 2 or 3 years behind. I just went 1 year ahead. And if I just look at Oak Street, 16 Oak Street, I don't know if you have that in front of you or not.
Yep.
Is the value we're talking about 381? Was that the value that we're being compared to? I think that's it. It's not 240.
No.
381, yeah.
Yeah.
Adjusted sales price.
Was that the 381?
Yes, that's 16 Oak Street.
Yeah, 381 is what I'm comparing it to. Is that correct? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what I did on Zillow today, I just looked at the values of all of these, including our property. And Zillow had today 394,520, which is in the ballpark. Very, very close. Then I looked at 8 Prospect, 344, 377. Okay. That's in the ballpark. The 34 Platte was 383, 300. They had 432, 652. So each one is a little above or close. Then I come to our property. Zillow today has it at 259, 608 versus 362. So we're the one below a year ahead. Since we did this 2 or 3 years behind, I just looked at a year ahead. Should be somewhat comparable, or pattern should be the same. We're 100,000 less than the value today that was studied. And I think that's because the land is overvalued at 225.6. You go to Oak Street, it's 130, 100. So I think I'm trying to talk fast because it's only 10 minutes. You could come back to me after I finish. But it's 225, 600. Whereas I know we're on Chestnut, but we're not on the first street of Chestnut where we have all the $1 million houses. We're the street up, which have rental houses on all sides of us here. And it's certainly not the same as being on that street. So if you look on the comparable land values of 130, 100 for the other properties, 128.7, we look like we're overvalued on the land, by 100,000 at least. And that would be my point of view, because I'm looking at Zillow today, and every value seems to be a little higher or in the ballpark, except us. We're 100,000 less in value on Zillow today. So I'm just trying to get a sense of the patterns. If we did 2 or 3 years behind where we should have been on 7/19, I just go a year ahead. Everything's about the same except us. We're 100,000 below. So I just wanted to point that out. And to get an outside source to look at it, someone, another outside source. And then the pattern is the same for everyone because the land values are low. And you look at us, we're over because the land value is 100,000 more than everyone else on this, at least on Oak Street and a few others. So I just wanted to point that out.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
You purchased this house in 2011 for $282.
Correct.
So do you feel in between 2011 and now that it's just increased $3,000 in value? Have you
No, I don't. No, it's a market like a stock market. Yes, it's gone up at different points in time during those years. It probably went up to 362 at some point, or 350, or 340, or 330. But it's like a stock. Yes, at one time, Time Warner was $85, and then it became $8. Depends when you look at it. So yes, during those years, it likely did go up and down because it's a market. But at the end of the day, where we are as of 7/19, yes, the value went up and down like a stock would. And General Motors was 50, and now it's 20. So it's a market. If the net increase or decrease after all those changes, yes, I would say it's $3,000 based on Zillow. Yeah, based on what Zillow was saying as well.
Did you do any upgrades or renovation to it?
No, except we did absolutely nothing except paint. Well, we painted the house because it was peeling. So we had to paint it. And we have 1.5 baths. We didn't do anything else other than, the bathrooms haven't changed. They're the same. We didn't do anything on the bathrooms. We bought some appliances, and put some backsplash on the kitchen, but we didn't do anything else, no.
Okay, that's all I've got.
Yeah, so there's been no renovation at all in the house and no improvements. So yes, I know it seems odd when you say I bought it in 2011 at $2, and how come it's only $3,000? But if I own stocks too, I could look back those years. Yeah, it went up and down. If I sold it when it was high, I would have done well. But it goes up and down, and this is where we are today.
Okay, thank you.
Daniel, did you keep a copy of the grievance letter? Because you didn't sign the one that I have. On page 3 under part 5, as owner, you're supposed to sign it.
They did a digital signature on that.
There's what?
Oh, we did it digital. I know my wife did it, so she probably did it.
In the wrong spot. She signed it digitally on the part 5 certification.
Okay.
Oh.
I see. So it's over by the gate. Got it. Never mind. So the next step will be we'll deliberate and come up with a decision, and the town will send a letter out to you in early July.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Fine. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Ed in the waiting room and Ari, and I think Ed is our next one.
Yes.
Sure. Let me know
We
when you're
ready?
ready.
Yes.
Okay, letting Ed in.
Ed, if you want to unmute yourself, there you go. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Yes.
All right, good. Hello, everyone.
All
Hi.
right, so let's start with an oath before we get started.
Okay,
You solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
absolutely, yes.
Great, Ed. So we're going to have about 10 minutes to go through this. If we're still talking in around 8 minutes, I'll give you an 8-minute warning.
Sounds good.
So let's get started. Time's ticking. Tell us about the grievance.
All right, so the basis of the grievance is the appraisal that's dated July 2019. That's an appraisal that was done at the request of Wells Fargo in connection with a refinance that I was able to accomplish. To me, it's obviously a pretty relevant valuation. I don't know, exactly. I guess I'd love to hear how it was that the town came to the valuation that they did for my home, but it seems high.
And was the evaluation by Wells Fargo 435?
It was, yes.
Did you have any comparable properties that you compared your property to for valuation other than what the appraiser did?
I'm basing my claim on the appraisal. And I'm interested in knowing what comparables the town used.
Well, I think we have, were you not given the page of comparables?
No, I wasn't.
You can definitely send, if residents want a copy of, comparable properties, we can absolutely send that upon request.
Right, so the question was I sent, what did I see? I have not.
And I have one question for you. You bought the property in 2006 for $450,
I did.
and you expect that it's diminished in value in 14 years?
Absolutely, Gina. The market in 2006 was at the height. It's only gone down. I wish it was up. Obviously, village properties and town properties are different in terms of valuation these days as well.
Okay.
Okay, so Matt, can you get Ed the list of comparables that were used on the house and give them to us as well when we deliberate?
Yes, I can
Okay.
send that, we can send that via email if that's best for him. Is that best for you, Ed?
Yeah, that works great.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Steve, it's not in your packet.
Yeah, you should have it in your packet, Steve.
It's like on page 4 or 5.
Form.
Oh, I got it. Sorry, I skipped right over that. Yep, I got them.
Okay. So we
Okay,
have stuff to look at, Ed.
Okay, no problem. If you need anything else from me, let me know.
Okay, so we're going to deliberate over the next couple of weeks, and the town will get a letter out to you with the decision in early July.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
How's everyone holding up?
Okay, how are you?
Coffee.
So,
This is your last one, and then you get a 10-minute break.
Oh, yay.
Yes.
Don't go far.
And a break. Can I ask a question about if there is no signature, sometimes that has happened, but sometimes there actually has been a signature. Are we by law allowed to consider or allowed to not consider?
Not a valid document without a signature. So that, ultimately it's, the board's decision. But realistically, it's, without a signature, it's not a valid document.
Right. Okay. I just want to give people the best chance I can at getting information to us, but they've got to do the minimum.
We generally try to screen as much as possible. We obviously, when residents submit, we want them, to make sure that they have everything they need for the meeting. So if we see a missed signature, we'll absolutely let them know. But again, if most of the documentation submitted, today or the day before, it's just harder for us to kind of catch at this point.
Right. I have to say, I personally witnessed Donna chasing down a signature over
I
the.
believe it. I believe it.
I chased you down, didn't I, Gina?
Guilty party.
No, but I knew how to get to the guilty party.
Donna's on top of it.
But there are a lot that have come through that I didn't catch because we've had such a volume in the last 3 days.
Yeah.
So it's hard to review everything for me, copy everything, and get your packets.
we understand.
Right.
Should we go on?
I have Ari in the waiting room.
Yeah, if we started 5 minutes early, we can break it.
Get 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I like that idea.
Let's go.
Taking it.
Okay, Ari's joining now.
Where do you go?
There he
Oh,
is.
there he is.
There he is.
Okay, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Okay. we
Yes.
can. So let's get started. We'll start with an oath and then we'll have 10 minutes to go through your packet and you can tell us why you're here. Do you solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
I do.
Okay, clock's ticking. Let's go.
Okay. I saw on the assessment roll that my home was coming in at total that I think it was 566. And I purchased the property in September for 470. And I have, a number. I had an appraisal done that came in at 460 at that time, and there's been 3 sales in the last year or so on my block of comparable houses that have all come in between 413 and 460. So that's the
Send us those, Ari. Ari, did you send us those 3 comps, recent sales?
I did. There are links to them in my email that I sent. They are not MLS, I don't know what format, they're just simply the Zillow page that show the sale and the price. You want me to resend that?
I wouldn't mind having the addresses if that's not a problem.
Not at all. The addresses are 7 Reeder Road in Rhinebeck,
Yep.
3 Libera Court.
Yep. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Are they
those are on
on
the appraisal.
the appraisal?
Yeah, I think they're on the appraisal.
Oh, they
well,
may be there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 1 Liberia Court, Accurate Cook, 7 Reader, 3 Liberia, and 5 South Hinterlands.
Okay.
And then a couple other ones too.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Ari.
Sure.
So what else can you tell us about the basis for your grievance? Or is it just purely based on the assessed value?
Yeah, well, I know that what the previous assessment was and what some of the other assessments are around the neighborhood. And I've lived here for 10 years. So I'm aware of property values and what has transpired. And so I saw it come in at 566. I said, I'm not understanding how that determination is being made at 566 when other comparable houses are and clearly selling for much less, but not only that, but also being assessed at much less. So this is my first time in this process,
Okay.
Happy to provide any other color that you'd like in terms of, detail and
Okay, Ari, here's a question for you. When you did buy it just last September,
yes.
470, you're thinking it's less than what you paid for it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, that the assessment came in at 460. I had a contract that was actually higher and was able to get it down based on that assessment.
Yeah,
so
that happened to me.
Yeah, so I paid more than probably what it was worth, but in an effort to get it done in a timely manner, and in good faith, went forward with the sale. But yeah, I do believe, and based on the inability to move a property in this market, probably, or the increasing difficulty, looking at the other value, value of the other properties that have sold, that's what I'm thinking. It probably is more realistic as to what it should be assessed at.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else have any questions?
Nope.
No. Okay, great. So the process is that we'll deliberate over the next couple of weeks and the town will send out a letter in early July with the decision. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for your
Thank you.
time.
Yep.
You're
All right.
Okay.
Who's the letter from Eileen and Chris Tran? Who is that?
Yeah, what's that?
Is that part of a different grievance? Is that, I don't understand. It doesn't look like the values are matching the grievance.
Is that on today's list?
No, I looked through today. I didn't see it. But I don't know if it belongs here.
It's probably something that's gotten clipped to it.
Can one of you hold it up so I can see what it is?
It's just a letter.
I might have just accidentally stapled it to the other thing, to somebody
So
else.
should we pull it out?
Yes, please.
Damn it, Donna.
I know, I know.
No.
Probably also that star exemption. Is that? Oh, no, that's not. Okay, so it's just the one page.
Fred,
Yes.
when will you be sending the link to log on Saturday?
In the next few minutes, I guess I can do that. Let me see if I can.
That's fine. I would like it by tomorrow so I can send the emails to the Saturday people.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have,
You have 10 minutes.
no, we have more. We have like 18 minutes.
Yeah.
18 minutes.
Don't rush me. Okay, thank you.
Hey, my pile's getting less. Like
That's a
that.
good thing. It's a good thing.
Oh, Gina, I can refill it for you.
I know you can. Hello?
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
What's up? Was that you?
What?
Who said hello just now?
Well, somebody said hello to me, I thought.
Oh, I thought that was you saying hello.
Well, anyway, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Don, I just emailed that around to all the BAR members, Matt, you, and Sabrina.
Got it. Thank you, Fred.
You're welcome.
Fred, were you looking for me? It's Donna.
I just was saying I just sent the meeting invite for Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
I sent to all the BAR members, Matt, you, and Sabrina.
Okay.
So if Jennifer needs it,
Donna? Donna,
Yes.
can you call my cell phone? I just got a message from one of the folks who's on the schedule, and I just want to talk to you about it.
Sure can.
You have my number? Do you need it?
Nope, I got it.
Okay, thanks.
If Jennifer needs it, Fred, I'll forward it to her.
okay. Thank you.
Oops, sorry.
Not yet. Those aren't my kids.
I feel like we're finally making a dent in this pile today.
Donna threatened to send me more when I said that, Steve.
Oh, yeah. She will on Friday.
Yes.
How'd it go this morning? Jennifer.
I think it went well.
Yeah. I had to go to finish up Poughkeepsie this morning.
That's got to be a big challenge.
I had very few residential grievances, but I have all of Route 9 from the old Psych Center, Hudson River Psych Center.
Oh.
Down, you skip to the city of Poughkeepsie, and then it picks up at Locust Grove to the Wappingers Creek.
Wow.
There was a lot of, the commercial's big, so.
I bet
Keep it for a
business
while.
owners are much more difficult than homeowners.
Well, you know what? You typically deal with attorneys.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Lisa.
I've heard worse, believe me.
I go through my attorney, they go through their attorney. It's just a matter of getting all your ducks in a row with everybody.
Do they have the same process as, the grievance, then they appeal and
They can't go to small claims.
they can't?
Commercials have got to go file the certiorari.
Huh. I have to tell you, I am getting feedback. People are watching this as if it's entertainment.
No way, really?
Yes.
No, it's
So I
reality.
said, how do we look?
Rhinebeck reality, right?
I know.
They need to be,
I'm actually glad people are watching.
Mhm.
I
It's
agree.
good for everybody to participate. That's what I tell everybody. Be part of the process.
Yes.
You know, if I were just sitting around and doing nothing, I would have it on and see if anything interesting happened. But that's just wonky me,
I think I'd be outside in the garden or out playing tennis. Sorry.
Yeah. I like making John laugh.
If it wasn't so hot outside, I'd be doing the same thing outdoors.
Yeah.
It is getting hot. It'd be tough to wear those masks if it gets any hotter.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I thought it would just be too cruel to set this up at the pool side and be sitting at the pool to do it. So
That
sweltering.
would be a little torturous.
I'm just gonna suffer through it.
There's no one in the waiting room.
Was there anything on Walters other than oh, I see. There's a letter here. Sorry, never mind.
I have T. Stafford in the waiting room.
Don't know.
Oh, he's for 310.
The
Yeah,
Leibowitz.
he's for Leibowitz. That's gonna be a while. And do you want to take him out of order? Since he's here and nobody else is, shall we take him out of order?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Who was that?
This is Annie Leibovitz's lawyer, Dan Stafford, who's in the waiting room. So that would be not the next one after Walters, but the one after that.
I might save her on legal fees, but
Well, I'm sure she doesn't give a damn about that. But.
Somebody, there's a new
so
person here.
sure.
I wouldn't be so sure either.
Number 1. It's not showing a phone number. I have a call-in user number 1.
Well, why don't I'm ready to take the next person.
All right, I'm going to let the call-in user 1 in.
Okay, we'll see who that is.
See who it is.
Okay, John, are you unmuted? Do you need to be?
No.
I don't have to be, but the kids are a little loud in the background.
Oh, okay, got it.
That just makes it real.
Oh, it's real, all right.
Yes, it is.
Who do we have on the phone?
You have Keith Arndt from Long Dock Road.
Okay, so that's the next
What's
one.
the second one?
Right.
Do you want to just? Right, is there anybody else in the waiting room before, or should we just start here?
The Leibowitz person is in the waiting room and they're next, not this one.
Okay,
So I'm ready to go with Keith.
okay, let's do that.
Sure.
Okay. So I have a little oath to read before we get started. We'll have 10 minutes to go through the grievance, and I'll give you an 8-minute warning if we're still discussing it at that point.
Sure.
Do you solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
I do.
Okay. So tell us about your grievance. What brings you here today?
Okay, so great. So I got my original statement from Tyler. I understood it, and at the time I had a conference with Steve from Tyler, and he went back and I pleaded my case then. He came back and it looks like it has been revised from a market value of the 2020 market value of $804,000 down to 778, I believe. He came down to, and I still think that's high, personally. My packet, I included my latest insurance policy. I switched insurance carriers. And just this past month, it's less than 30 days old. And for what it's worth, Amica does a very robust job of assessing value. And they came back at 752.4. And a little bit more than 2 years ago, I refinanced the mortgage on the property. They came back with an assessment that was about the assessment I was at, which was 640. Now, granted, that was 2 years ago. You know, the problem I have, and the problem as I see it, is that, and I don't know if you're familiar with the property. It's very unique, and not that this is the only unique house in the town of Rhinebeck. Far from it. But it is very hard to find comparables, and it's very difficult to place value on this. And I know the assessors and estimators, that's their job to do that. So I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I will say it's a rather difficult, by Steve's own admission at Tyler, it's a little bit difficult piece to tackle. All I can go is on the information that I have, and I would like to see it reduced further. Certainly, no more than what I've insured for, which again I said is 752.4. And I know the loan is 2 years old, but they had a hard time getting comparables, and they had a hard time getting up to that number. To refinance. They actually came lower at first, and did a little bit more digging, and then they did come up to a number that was able to that allowed me to refinance. But I don't think I'm anywhere near what the town has currently given me.
Anybody have any questions for Keith?
I just had one. Is there only one structure on the property?
No, there's more than one structure. I mean, it includes a guest house. Yes, a small guest house.
Okay, that's what I was remembering. Thank you.
No questions.
Okay, great. So the process is that we are going to deliberate over the next several weeks, and the town will send a letter out to you with the decision in early July.
Okay, and that will be in writing via mail, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay, and then your decision, the decision of the group is final, I'm assuming, correct?
I think there's a process after that. If you want to pursue it, it should be on the town website.
Okay. Is there anything else that you need from me?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
All right, very good. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, bye.
Steve, the letter that gets generated with the decision
Yes.
typically has the instructions
Okay, good.
for them to move forward.
Thank you. Do we have Nancy in the waiting room?
Doesn't seem.
You ready for Stafford?
What happened to Nancy Walters? She not there?
I think she
I'm sorry.
No show?
Yeah, the Sheldon Walters is a no-show. Keith Arendt then came, and then Dee Stafford is representing Leibowitz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear
Yeah.
us?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Lisa, sorry for bothering you. I didn't.
No, I'm glad you did.
So before we get started, just a quick oath to read, and then we'll have 10 minutes to go through your grievance. If we're still talking at the 8-minute mark, I'll give you that 8-minute warning. Okay. Do you solemnly affirm that the information you're about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
I do.
Okay, so tell us about the property and the grievance.
The property, it's a 7.78 acre parcel with a modular home on it that was built in 2007. When we met with Tyler Technologies, they had it listed as, I believe, 1,900 square feet, or some close to 2,000. I can't remember the exact amount. And their notes reflected that the second floor and first floor were finished. In reality, the second floor is not finished. I've provided some pictures to the board to substantiate that. And I don't know that was taken into account when Tyler reevaluated the property, but whether or not it was, I mean, that obviously has some effect on the value. It's an extra 700 square feet. Whether or not it was, let's assume that it was closer to 2,000 square feet. I've provided 3 comparable properties that show that this is still grossly overassessed at 1.149 million. It's a fairly rundown house. Pictures reflect that there's cracks in the ceiling where the 2 parts were joined together. It's not in keeping with a lot of the other homes on River Road. It's meant to be this parcel was farmed. Ms. Leibowitz purchased it for the purpose of giving the farmer who was working the land a place to stay. That's why it was there. It's not lived in year round. Of the 3 comps, the farthest away is 4.64 miles. The closest is 2.28 miles. So they are within close geographic region. The high value is 850,000. The low is 436. And we're at 1.149 million right now. And it's don't believe that this could be sold for anywhere near that. I consulted with local real estate agent Simone Edwards, who has access to all MLS transactions and listings. She's a reputable broker. She represented to me that she would list this property for $525,000 if she was going to sell it. And when she would expect it to go for somewhere between 500 and 525. So.
Does anybody have any questions?
Is there a river view?
It's pretty far back from the river. There is no view.
But it does go down to the river?
It does not go down to the river.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, on the comp page,
Mhm.
The sale price in 2002 was $635,000.
Yep.
Do you have a sense, or did Ms. Edwards give you a sense of why she thinks that it would sell 18 years later for less than that?
Yeah. So I can tell you why we paid that, or why my client paid that much. This property is adjacent to 311 River Road, which she owns. It was an arm's length transaction, but she paid a premium for it because the prior owner wasn't necessarily, it wasn't on the market at the time, and she wanted to secure this, not to join it with her larger parcel, but to make, to expand what she had there, so that the person who was farming the land could live there. I don't believe it was on the market. She paid, like I said, paid a premium so that she could secure an adjacent property, as sometimes happens when someone is looking to enlarge the area of their land. You've got to provide a bit more to coerce is the wrong word, or convince someone to sell. That was the price that was the magic number at that time. I don't believe it was, if I had to guess, probably wasn't worth anything near that at that time, especially because it was unimproved. So the circumstances weren't your typical market circumstances, but even 635, that's, even though we paid a premium, that's still well below what it currently is assessed at. The median price of the three comps I provided is 560, and those three range between September of 2019 and January of 2020. So they're all very recent. They're all close. I think these are good representations of what it's actually worth.
Okay, thank you.
Just to be clear, on the first page of the grievance, you have the property value that you think it's worth is $114,980.
Well, that's 10% of the assessed value. I do quite a few tax grievances and certs, and my practice is on the item 7 there to put 10% of whatever the assessed value is, knowing that whatever we put, we can't go below it. Obviously, that's not, we don't actually think it's worth $149,000. It's definitely more than that, but sort of a placeholder, if you will.
Anybody else have any questions?
No.
Yeah. Okay, so we will review this in the next couple of weeks, and the town will send out a letter in early July with the decision.
Great. Thanks so much. Good seeing you again,
Thank
Lisa.
you.
Take care.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
No one in the waiting room. But we shouldn't expect the next one till closer to 3:20. Hello?
One thing, was it clear from what Dan said? Do you guys have a sense? It was already reduced once when he came to talk to either Matt or Tyler? Because it says something about the square footage being, even after correction, they think it's too high, does that mean that there was a reduction? I should have asked him that while he was here, but I suppose our guys will know.
Yeah, and that's what he kind of implied.
I can definitely check that out once I get back onto the county and just see if there was a reduction.
Okay.
For the last,
It says there was one. He says there was a $34,400 reduction in his letter.
Okay.
School. To the school. To the school.
Hi, Jocko. How are you? Hi. Want some popcorn, sweet? Jocko being a good dog. It might be if you want to walk up there, I'll call you in a few minutes.
Do we lose Steve? We lost Steve.
Oh, he'll figure it out.
Okay. I've
Yeah,
got
he'll
the
be
next person in the waiting room. Let's wait and see if Steve gets back on.
Yeah.
Okay. Although I've got the swearing in, we all have the swear in thing if we need to.
Yeah, we do. So if Steve doesn't come back. Gina, you can do it.
I like to swear.
Do you like to swear in?
And this person is down for 2 in a row.
Three, right?
320.
I have 3 properties here from the same person.
Got it? Good, thanks.
Two vacant properties and 1 with a house.
Correct.
Yeah, just saying Donna's list of Anthony Tedesco twice, then Hudson River Revivals LLC.
That one's a different one.
Okay.
Right, it's 2 appointments, but there's 3 properties.
Okay. Yeah. There's the first appointment was for 1 property. The second appointment was for 2. 2 parcel IDs. And there's Steve. There we go.
Is Mr. Tedesco on in the waiting room?
Yes, he's in the waiting room.
We've got a couple
We
from
go
him,
ahead.
right?
He's got 2
We
minutes
got 3 from.
if you want. Or we could take him now.
I'm ready.
Go ahead, let him in.
May as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know this person.
You gotta take yourself off mute, Tony. Bottom left.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, great. So I'm going to read a quick oath before we get started, and then we'll have 10 minutes to go through. You have a couple of them, so we'll take our time.
Okay.
Do you solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. Let's get started. The first one I have is the 419 Rhinecliff Road. Should we start with that one?
That's correct. Yeah. That's good.
Right. The floor is yours.
I'm sorry?
We're waiting for you. Tell
Oh.
us about your grievance.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I built this house, I guess, about 30 years ago. And it just, I mean, it's really smaller than, first of all, I think it, somewhere I saw where it said it was a 3-bedroom. It really is only a 2-bedroom. And I think that's significant. I think the square footage was about right. I just, confirmed that. And then I attached an appraisal that was done about 3.5 years ago. So I think the proposed assessment of, let's look at my notes here, $647,900 is rather high. I mean, I've been in both houses to my north and south, and they're much more of a house, probably 2 or 3 times a house than mine. So I'm just concerned,
What were the appraised values of those houses, if you know?
The appraised value of those houses, I do not know that.
Okay.
I mean,
Do you have the
was-
addresses?
oh, I'm sorry?
The addresses?
I believe one is, oh my goodness, 443 or 453. And the one to my north, I don't know what that would be, but they're to my immediate north and south, I guess. And then another one even further south was recently redone. I mean, it was a major renovation. And the one to the north of me is a few years old, but fairly new. Much more of a house. I've been in that one a couple of times.
Well, Tony, other than making a factual correction of it being a 2-bedroom as opposed to a 3-bedroom,
That's correct. I believe it should be noted in town records as a 2-bedroom, but I saw somewhere it said 3 bedrooms. So I was a bit confused. I believe my septic system, if memory serves, I believe my septic system at the time was only suitable for 2-bedroom in the area that I had. I think that was why it had to be a 2-bedroom. I don't know what the record, unfortunately, there was been a lot going on in the last few months for me, so I couldn't really, unfortunately, spend a lot of time to, unfortunately, we had a loss in the family because of this COVID-19, and it's been rough.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Like,
oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
she lived in the city. And she wound up in a nursing facility, and no, that it.
Okay, and this appraisal for 400,000 was 4 years ago.
Yeah, yes, 2016. That's correct.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
Anybody have any more questions for this property?
No.
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 Okay,
What about the next one?
let's move on to the land.
Yeah, the properties there, when I purchased the property probably almost 40 years ago, I believed it was one piece of property just minutely under 2 acres. And it's a very long story, but I had proposed building a house on it at the time, which was rejected for a variety of reasons, because I was shy of 1/10 of an acre or something. So when I looked further into the deed, it appeared and then was found to be 3 lots on 1 deed. So we wound up building this house on one of those lots. The other 2 are also less than the required 1 acre, but I think they were grandfathered. So my question there was, and I always thought they were just assessed too high, because I'm not even, I know on one of them it would be impossible to build a house. The other one probably, but that would require, I don't have any plans to, let me put it that way. So I'm trying to even determine the best way, and this is kind of pushing me to that point, the best way to deal with it so my cash flow is improved. If I can combine them, I don't know what to do to perhaps lower the taxes. I just felt they were just high, and one of them, I believe, like doubled. And that really, I don't know. I mean, I guess comparables are not easy to come by. One of them, where are we here? One of them went from, here we go. Okay. One of them went from 97 to 154. And another one went from, yeah, that's the one that doubled. Actually, I believe it was the smaller one. No. The smaller one, which is 50.55 acres, went from 97 to 154, which is a rather sizable increase. And the other went from 0.79 to from 91 to 170, almost 172. So that's almost double. And I thought it was just a lot. I always felt they were praised high, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, we never challenged it.
Anybody have any questions?
Do you use the land for anything at all, Tony?
What way, Gina? Like, you mean for?
Do you have trails? Is there any, is there a gazebo? Is there?
No, there's nothing on it. I had a garden there at one point, but I'm getting tired. Yeah. I haven't, no. I just, it's there.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
I'm sorry again.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Yeah, it's been a rough time. Thank you.
So Tony, we're going to deliberate in the next couple of weeks and the town will get a letter out to you in early July with the decision. Okay?
All right. Thank you very much and be well and stay
Thank you.
safe.
You too.
Have a great one.
You too. Must I do something?
Yes, you need to
Oh, I
disclose.
just have to
Leave me.
All righty, will do. Okay, just press leave, is that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, no,
Thank you, Tony.
thank you. Take care.
Bye.
You talked, I was on the phone with someone else. You were able to talk about all three properties with Tony?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of time, I think, till 3:50 for Hudson River Revivals LLC if they show up, but there's no one in the waiting room.
Well,
Okay.
Thankful how efficient we are today.
And then
Tony
we-
had he had two time slots.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And
right.
then the Bohms have like a lot of time. We've just got one person in between. We could have had time for a nap coming up. Hell,
I don't know how to nap.
you
You
don't.
got me
know
laughing
I
again,
do.
Gina.
What, John?
So we,
I said, you got
We've
me
got till
laughing
three.
again.
we've got till 3:50.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
back.
Okay, I'll see you then.
Your 340 canceled yesterday, and I didn't want to screw up with the paperwork, so I didn't reschedule it.
So Hudson River canceled?
No, the one before Hudson River, before I printed your sheet, so it's not on there.
Oh, okay.
But at like 3:30 yesterday, they canceled, and I didn't want to try to squeeze someone in and,
Oh, I see. There's a 340 that's not listed. Oh, I get it.
right. But they
Okay.
didn't cancel till like 3:40 yesterday.
Yeah,
Well,
that
I'm
makes
gonna go
sense.
see if I can figure out something in the freezer to make my poor suffering husband for dinner then.
You don't have much time. I'd get a TV dinner.
That might be what happens.
Go to Buns. Quick
Yes,
burger and
go to Buns.
fries.
Oh, that's a good thought.
I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Has anybody tried the Dells yet?
I have not. I keep, is it good?
The hamburgers are pretty good.
I've
Yes.
heard good things.
The ice cream is phenomenal.
It's all
I had a
local, right?
six noodles ice cream and it was good and it was way too big.
No, there's no such thing.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. It was, I asked for one scoop, but it was like 4 scoops all stuck together and it easily could have been for me and one other person. But I ate the whole thing. It was
Yeah.
good.
I don't share ice cream.
And they've done so many good things for the community. They give so much stuff to the food pantry. It was, so I figured I'm just paying them back for doing that anyway.
Exactly. But I'm not sure if they're open until tomorrow, but normally they in the beginning they had really long lines, but now they're doing well, getting the times down.
What are their
Yeah.
fries like? What are their fries compared to? Like,
They're a little like Buns fries. They're the skinny ones.
you know,
They're a little thicker than Buns. They're more, if you go to, who has?
they're not like Matchbox fries though, are they? Like
No.
No.
I bet they're like a in between Matchbox and Buns.
And Buns, okay. So good variety of French fries in Rhinebeck.
Yep.
I think I'm well acquainted with all of them.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
3:50, okay.
Did we ever get a grievance form for Boehm? Because we have 3 in a row.
As of right now, no. Unless
Okay.
Donna has received it in that period of time, but I think she would have let us know. So I
Yeah.
don't think we have.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Steve, just for your information, I've started that other meeting and from this point forward till 8 p.m., I'll be running 2 BAR meetings at the same time.
Good luck with that.
It's
Hopefully
okay.
the
I just
times are
want you to know if
staggered.
I don't respond quickly, it's because I'm stuck on something on this other one.
That's okay.
Should go fine. We've got 5 minutes. There's no one in the waiting room.
Just so you guys know, all of the Boems never received any grievance forms from them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, now I've got someone in the waiting room. And all I see is the initials DB.
David Bowie? Or Deborah Barrow?
Don't know. Only way to find out is to admit them.
Yeah, and on the grievance form, there's a Deborah Barrow.
Yeah.
So.
Where did Linda go?
I am not 100% sure, but once they see the interior showing.
I don't know.
Did we lose her?
My battery went dead and I had to come back in, so maybe the same thing happened.
Oh, yeah. Mine is actually declining. But I can get a charger on it.
I don't like it when we all change seats.
Yeah, it jumps around a lot, right? I don't know if we all see the same order, do we?
I don't think so.
I see
Seems
John.
like it seems like everybody's moved but me. But it must just be on my screen.
No, you,
I'm
in the middle of mine to the opposite side. Steve, you were where it's like Hollywood Squares or whatever that show was. You
Brady
were,
Bunch.
Now John was down there. How old are your kids, John?
11, 7 and 2 weeks, and 9.
7 and 2.
Nice. 11, 7, and 9. I like that.
So 2 years, 2 months, and 2.5 years altogether.
Yeah.
Between the kids, but it's an interesting time, especially having to do 3 different grades of homeschooling.
Well, I just had to mediate a fight between my 31-year-old and my 29-year-old. That evolved into one calling the other a nihilist. And then I said, he's not a nihilist. And they said, well, he is a landlord. And I said, well, a landlord.
You have a point there.
Nihilist, right? So I don't know. I'd like to tell you it gets better, John, but
it changes. I don't know if it
Exactly.
gets
The problems change.
Yes, they get more complicated.
Grief.
Let's have only one.
And cute one it is.
Oh, thank you. I think so too.
You want me to let DB in now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear
Hi,
me?
we can. Who's this?
This is Deborah Barrow.
All right, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hi.
So I'm going to start with an oath, and then we'll have about 10 minutes to go through your grievance. I'll give a warning at 8 minutes if we're still discussing by then, but we've been pretty thorough in getting done before then. Okay?
Okay.
You solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so.
I do.
Okay, let's go through it. Tell us a little about your property while you're here.
Okay, I think that the new valuation is significantly over its true value. I think of, and I thank you for sending me over the 5 comps. And I think of all of the comps, the closest one is 32 Old Rock City Road, with the main difference being they have an extra bedroom than this place, and the front door is on a country lane, other than, as opposed to mine, which is on a 55-mile-per-hour speedway, with tanker trucks and everything else going down the road. That house sold 18 months ago for $195,000. It was on the market for quite a long time. And I had cause to visit it right before it was sold because, the Taters were friends of mine in the neighborhood for all those years. And it was in its original condition when it sold. In other words, like my house, it's had no improvements. It has none of the gourmet kitchens or additional bathrooms, or, they still have linoleum, things like that. It's a 7-minute walk to that house too. So it's really right in the neighborhood. And 18 months ago, it sold for $195,000. I feel that $205,000 is a fair valuation for this house because of the negatives on the house, which include, as I said, the 1970s, it was built in the 70s, interior remains intact. One baby blue bathroom, linoleum on the floor, Formica, sparkle, countertops and backsplash. The only thing that I've done is put in a new refrigerator, a new dishwasher, new stove, those sort of things. There's no porch, there's no deck, there's no outside anything. It's quite negative being on a country, it's being on a 55-mile-an-hour road, and the house is right on 308, and 55 miles an hour is slow on 308. We get tractor trailers and we get tankers, and just getting your mail is challenging. And except for the 2 comps that are also on 308, those comps have something going for them that my house doesn't, which is access to Lake Sapasco. Whenever you put Lake Sapasco access into a listing, the purchase price or the valuation goes way up because everybody loves Lake Sapasco. Well, they should. And those homes on 308 have deeded access to Lake Sapasco. So I'm the only 308 fronting house on this comp list that doesn't have access rights to Lake Sapasco, but I have the same negatives of being on 308, and they are significant. I also am very close to an unregulated dump. I mean, my micro neighborhood, right in my neighborhood, is the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, which is right next door. Nothing particularly wrong. I mean, they keep it nice and neat, but it is not a community sort of neighborhood feel. Next to that is a notorious place, and that the town has gone out after, in years past for storing all kinds of equipment in various degrees of degradation. And we're also catty-cornered from a bar. Now, this current iteration of the bar is superior to the ones that have been there before, but we've had roadhouses in that place. So I'm not on a country lane. I'm on a highway. I'm not in a house that has had nothing done to it in 50 years. And there's this $271,000 represents 101% increase in valuation, a 61% increase in my tax, estimate from the form I was sent. And Hudson River Revivals owns one property. It's this property. It's a single member LLC. I'm the single member. I'm a senior citizen facing a very uncertain economic future. So this isn't some big LLC. It's an LLC because my lawyer, Warren Raplansky, who as my real estate lawyer said, you should put it in an LLC. It's the only property this LLC owns, and it's me. So I think the negatives show that this is a big evaluation overreach.
Deborah, what was your prior evaluation?
It was 135.
Okay, thanks.
And my, let's see, the amount that I was paying in taxes was $4,145. And this new is going to be $6,676. That's a significant, it's a 67% increase in taxes on a property that nothing's happened to in the last 10 years.
Deborah, when you bought it, you bought it for 200,000?
Correct, right before the market crashed. Right at the actual nanosecond of the real estate market crash. And the other, as I said, the closest valuation to this is the one that you put there, number 32, Old Rock City Road. And unless he or whoever the new owner is, I'm sorry, I haven't met them, has quietly put in, I don't know, grandiose kitchens and bathrooms and patios and decks. When I saw the Tater's old house, it looked like an elderly family who's lived there for 50 years, and it was in their move-in condition, much as I bought from the elderly couple that lived there for years, and it's in its move-in, it's in its original condition. Is there any questions that you have about did you see my Excel chart? Trying to make it clear. Clear. I mean, in times past, I've tried to rent it. People who have children will not touch it because of this 55-mile-an-hour road. People that have dogs don't want the dogs run over. People who have mail don't want to get their mail at the end of they often just turn right around and drive out the driveway. So this is not a particularly attractive place. I mean, actually, once you're there, I've made it as cute as I can afford to make it. So it's, not a slum or anything like that, but this is not a prestige property.
We're just about at 8 minutes now. Anybody else have any questions for Donna?
For Deborah.
Deborah, I'm sorry.
My sister's name's Donna, and I answer to Donna.
Sorry about that.
Like automatic. The exact close-in neighborhood there, with the sheriff's substation, with the dump, with the bar, that has a negative effect on a property. As all the real estate agents tell me, it's location, location, location. location on a 55-mile-an-hour house with a bar across the street, a dump down the street, and the cops does not necessarily.
It's like a good
I
setting
mean,
for a
pardon
movie.
me, things well safe, but it's not exactly a neighborhood location.
So the process is over the next week or two, we will debate and deliberate on all of these, and the town will get back to you with a letter in the mail in July, beginning of July.
This is for the school taxes in September. Is that when it goes into effect?
I'm not sure when it goes into effect, Matt.
Yes, that's correct. September 2020 in the town and county, which is 2021 in January.
Okay, all right. And please take consideration of the other two Route 308 properties being deeded to the most desirable lake in Rhinebeck, Lake Zapasco, which drives those property values sky high.
We will.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
You have to leave the meeting.
Oh, I have to leave the meeting. Okay, I was.
Okay, we have one telephone number in the waiting room, 876-8891.
That is Boehm.
We've got nothing on them, right?
No.
We have not received anything, but that is their number. I just talked to them on the phone.
What did they say? They're bringing stuff in, or?
I didn't ask them that. She was upset on how to get into Zoom, so I walked her through it.
Do we know what the addresses are?
I don't have anything but what you guys have.
Okay.
And they have 3 meetings today, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 for H and 1 for C.
They're husband and wife.
Oh.
They live on Ackerd Hook Road, Ackerd Hook Road.
Okay.
But her father died, but I don't know. That's all I know. And that's
Okay.
all. Shall we do the same? Listen to it so it's on record and then,
Yep, they're here.
okay. We have nothing, so let's go.
You want to admit the person and talk to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello,
Yeah, who's
Hello,
this?
who do we have on the line?
you've got Hans Bohm. Hello?
Yep, just writing your name down. So, you know the way this works, right? We've got 10 minutes. You've got 3 different grievances here. We don't have any grievance forms for you, so we'll need that before the end of the day today. But we like to listen to what you have today since you have your slots reserved. So I'm going to start off with a quick oath, and then we can get going. Do you solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to start with 258 Ackerd Hook Road. Correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Square footage is over what it actually is. I don't know where you've come up with this new number. When I went into the preliminary grievance day, the number was 3,500 and change. To the best, it hasn't been, again, best of my knowledge, known to be more than 2,500. I think it was at about 24 and change
Since we built the house 27 years ago, the house has not grown, hasn't increased. We haven't added anything. And suddenly it was at 35 and change. I brought in our blueprints. I brought in photos. I brought in schematics where I had measured everything. This is at our preliminary grievance. And now it's been brought down to 2788, which is still about 200, at least 200 too high. I think you've almost got the second story correct at 696. I came in at 663. And the first story, I have 1907, and you've got 2092. So we're still off by about 200 square feet. And that's, my estimate includes all the interior, walls. I didn't take out for any, studs, walls, any of that. I just did a full measurement on the inside. You must have some formula, I'm sure, that you do the outside measurement, but you've been way off. The first time, still off by about at least 200 on the second go around. So that's, and I'm not quite sure how you could possibly be off by so much. Do you have our last and all previous assessments on file?
We have, we have all previous assessments on file. We also have the sketch of the property that had been completed, and we transmitted earlier with before informal hearings with Tyler Technologies. We transmitted property description reports to residents, with the sketch as well. Have you had a chance to review your sketch of your property?
No.
Okay, because that's something we could also transmit to you, because we do make exterior measurements as per, New York State Department of Taxation and Finance guidelines for measuring properties from the exterior. So we do calculate from wall to wall, outside wall to outside wall. So that could be the differences, the minor differences in square footage that you're mentioning.
Well,
so
it was major to begin with. It was 3,500 and change your first estimate. And when I went in to talk to, I forget the man's name, but I brought in photos of our vaulted. We have a cathedral ceiling. It's our main, great room. It's 22-foot cathedral. Our main living area, which is kitchen, sitting room, dining room, hallway. That's all vaulted. And that's what somebody wondered on the phone with me when I was shocked to see this very, very large increase. They said, "Oh, well, do you have any vaulted ceilings?" I said, "Well, we do." So I went in, talked to the man, showed him the photographs, current with me wearing the same clothes in the reflection of of our patio doors. So that's still off by about 200 at least. So that's one. And there's not much more. Not much more. We have an improvement section. There's the RP1, which is our deck, 660 square feet of deck. You have that in a good condition. House was built in 92. It hasn't been replaced. It's pressure treated. I flipped the boards, all the floorboards already once. So it's hardly in good condition. At best, it's in fair. I've had to sister up other pressure treated on the joists underneath so I could continue to hold down the floorboards because the ends have rotted or the joists underneath aren't accepting the screws anymore. So it's again, not in good shape. It's in fair shape. FC1, which is our shed, needs to be reshingled. It has 2 leaks. One of the front doors rotting off the hinges. It's got some ant damage, hardly in good shape, closer to fair. So that's about it.
Hans.
Oh, no, up. One other thing. Big deal. We have a culvert that drains water from a Kitzbergen Road, which is just about directly across from our property, and it drains into our front field, rendering often our front field inusable. It fills up with water, stays with water sometimes for months, depending on how much rain we're getting. So it is it's a wetland much of the time, and has been for decades.
Hans, I have a question for you. When you came in and met and reevaluated the square footage, did they make any reduction to? Also, we're flying blind here because we received no paperwork. So hopefully that'll come through. So we're just taking information from you with nothing to go on. But did they make any adjustment to your assessment when you came in for that meeting?
Yeah, they did. They had made an adjustment on the square footage from 3,500 and change down to 2,700 and change.
Did they make an adjustment on your tax assessment?
Well, they did. They dropped $11,000.
Okay,
but they also
that's what I wanted to know. Okay, thanks.
They also added in some wetland, a 0.15 acre, which I had described in the back part of our property, which again is about 4 feet above the swamp level, which is next to our property, and is often wet. It's unusable. So those two things. I didn't know about paperwork. I've not sent you in any paperwork. I thought this was just like the last grievance day I went to 10 years ago.
Well, you have to submit some paperwork, and you can have till, is it 5 o'clock this evening, team?
9 o'clock, I think, Jonathan.
Okay, so the paperwork would need to include, and where do I pick up the forms? Are they online? Is it?
Yep, they're online, and if you call Donna back in the office, she'll talk you through that.
Okay.
Is that correct, Donna?
Sorry, Donna's upstairs with me. Could you ask that one more time?
Oh, if they need to print out the forms that they need to submit, could they call you, Donna, in the office, and you can tell them where to find them on the website, etc.?
I could tell them. I could tell them the form number right now, if that's easier.
Well, it's a start.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to find if you go onto Google and search this form number that I can provide to you right now.
I've got a pen. I'm waiting.
Great. It's RP524.
RP524. So Richard Price 524.
That's correct. Form, yes. RP524 form. And the name of the form is Complaint on Real Property Assessment.
Okay.
And once you type that into Google, it should populate a PDF right from the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance website.
Okay. All right. Just out of curiosity, if you have our assessments from previous years, what was the square footage that I've been being assessed on since we built the house, 1992?
So if I go back, it looks like the square footage was 2,300 square feet. First story was 1,680 square feet. Second was 660 square feet, a total of 2,300 square feet. And then in 2019, it looks like Tyler remeasured and had 2,200 square feet in the first floor, 1,200 in the second, total, and then additional story of 100. So a total of 3,500, 3,552. And then now square footage is 2,780 88, which is 2,092 first story, 696 second. And we would have populated a sketch as well as a property description report and had sent that, before we went into valuation. So, but I can still provide you that sketch if you want to take a look at it and verify the measurements and everything.
Go back to that first number. What were we assessed at previously that we're being taxed on now?
That was your square footage. Your square footage previously from, your assessment's been the same as far as I can go back from 2011 to 2017 or 2018 at 496,000.
No, I'm saying it's just the square footage total for the house.
It was at 2,340 square feet.
Right, altogether.
That's correct. That was
Right.
based on the last reassessment. So the property has not been, I can't defend the data from the last reassessment. I was not here. I don't know who the contractor was, if he was efficient, but I know, we definitely had corresponded with residents throughout this reassessment process to verify the square footage. So, we definitely have the data we can work with right now. That's what we use moving forward.
Built the house. I have the blueprints that haven't changed, and it was based on that, our square footage and what we built. I had to get a construction loan for X size house, which is, and then get a CO, and everything had to be correct.
I would definitely recommend submitting that to the board. Definitely submit that information.
Okay. I mean, I brought my blueprints with me to the last. I found them. I mean, I went through. Can't imagine how much stuff to put my hands on those again. Okay. So that's that one. Let's go to 250. Aqueduct Road.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Not much other than the quality of the kitchen and the bath. You have both of those at normal. Neither one have had any upgrades in 60 plus years. They're original bathtubs, sinks, kitchen sink, cabinetry, cabinets, are veneered, and a lot of them need to be refaced. It's so same Formica, same green Formica from 1958 in the kitchen. Some of it missing, so they're not in. And they got linoleum floor over another linoleum floor. At best, fair condition for those, for both the kitchen and the bath. And that's all there is for that.
Okay, can I ask just some basic information? What was it assessed at, and what do you think it should be?
Right now, it's at, I think, 299. Where's that? 299.6.
Now, ordinarily, we would have that, but we don't have the paperwork. So, and what do you think it should be?
Well, if we were to upgrade both the bathroom and the kitchen, those are very expensive items. If we went middle of the road, you're probably talking, at least 25 grand for the two, I would think. Anyway, those are very expensive. They're not big. Neither one of these things are big, so it wouldn't be a lot of material. I think 25 grand is reasonable.
No, what do you think the assessment should be for it?
Oh, so then 275.
Okay, I'm just making notes. Thanks.
Okay.
And another question for you, quick question for you. When did you purchase this home, and did you purchase it for?
Purchased, I think, in the year 2004. And, well, cash we paid 200,000 plus the owner stayed in it for another 9 months rent free. I don't know what rent was going, so it's probably another like $1,000 a month. It's probably another 10 grand. So about 210,000.
Thank you for that.
Okay. All right. And, question. I'm not understanding where it says actual year built, 1958, effective year built, 1985. What does that mean?
So the property has an actual year built as far as when it was built, but the property, when properties are updated, especially older properties, they have it's an effective year built is essentially how the property now shows because it's been updated. It's an appraisal, effective year built is an appraisal line that we use on our real property system to identify properties so that we can effectively, for valuation purposes, but it's also to accurately represent the property. So if it is 1920 actual year built, it's been maintained, it has a newer year.
Because it's been maintained, not because there's been anything, extraordinary done to it.
Correct.
Went from siding to redwood and cypress siding and, nothing, just been maintained nicely.
Correct, been maintained and is not just it's not like you're walking into a 1920s home. It's been maintained throughout the years.
Okay, all right. So on the last one, which is 13 Manor, the only question I have is the grade adjustment percentage. John, the other two properties is at 100, and on this one it's at 110. I don't know what grade adjustment percentage means, and why would that be different?
Grade adjustment percentages can be utilized for a property that I have to pull up the property. Which property are you?
This is 13
discussing?
Manor Road in Rhinebeck, New York.
Okay. Give me one moment to pull that up.
And what was that assessed for, Hans?
That is assessed at $465,000.
So a grade adjustment, it reflects a better building quality. So the condition could be normal and the construction grade could also be average, but it would be slightly better than the rest of the homes in that area.
Well, indeed, it was built by a pretty top-notch carpenter.
There you go.
True story. Yep. He was heralded as one of the best. That's a stout house. So somebody knew what they were looking at.
And are you grieving that house as well, Hans?
I'm not.
Okay. All right, good.
Nope. Yeah, so just the other two. And so I'm going to be looking up Google RP524 form and get that filled out. And I can hand that in, or I'm going to fill it out online and email it to Rhinebeck.
You can do either one. And
Either one.
And you'll need one for each property that you're grieving.
Right, right. For sure. Okay, very good. So I'm done.
Okay, that's great. So try to get that paperwork in tonight if you can.
Yep.
And the process is that we're going to deliberate over the next couple of weeks, and we will get a letter out to you in early July on the decision.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. It's been rather painless. Hopefully it comes to something. You guys have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Eesh.
So 13 Manor Road is nothing happening, right? That was just
Correct.
for our information.
Her father's old house.
Oh, really?
So he just had that question. But frankly, I don't know, that seems awfully high for that. That's just a few houses down from mine. But I'm glad that's not being grieved. so.
We should not be having discussions about value of properties that
Aren't being
we've just been
grieved.
discussing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. I need Lisa to follow me around all the time.
Virtually in any event.
Steve, I think you had stepped away when I mentioned to the rest of the board, but I had sent, I'm pretty sure I sent it. I'll double check. Or will be sending the rest of the board the data collection for residential properties manual. So basically reflects the property record card so that when you all deliberate, you can read through that. So if there's certain fields on the cards that you want to see, like I was kind of talking with about 13 Manor, you can kind of go just breeze through it and see what each field means.
Okay.
All right.
So if for this last one, would we be able to put these new conditions and square footage into the software and see what gets shot out as a value?
Absolutely. You just have to send us the information and we can, anything you guys need. So if you want us to rerun properties, especially if they're, you want to adjust a condition or grade, definitely let us know and we'll do that.
Okay.
I've got Quint in the waiting room, which I believe is Irene Quint.
Okay.
Let her in.
Sure.
Yep. Hi, Irene.
Hi.
Can you hear us? We can hear you. You're good.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so we're going to get started. I'm going to read a quick oath that you can agree to, and then we're going to have 10 minutes to go through your grievance. I'll give you a warning at 8 minutes if we're not done by then, and we'll take it from there, okay?
Okay.
You do solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so.
Yes.
Okay, let's get started. Let's talk about your property and why you're here.
Jerry. Okay, I received a notice that my assessment and market value had gone up approximately $90,000. And I had concern about this and thinking that probably it might have been a mistake. I did some research with real estate agents and got a list about 10 properties that have sold within the last year. None of them were of equal description to my house. It was very hard to find. But what I did find was that the houses that were the closest to mine in the village were selling at either equivalent to what my previous market value was and nowhere near the new 2021. The difference is being that I don't have a basement. A lot of them did. I don't have a garage. I have no central air, no fireplace. The ones that were sold had more square footage than I have. Their property was a larger size than mine. Now, I don't know where I would be able to sell my house at the value that you're saying it is. My biggest concern is that my taxes were going up. It stated on the form that it was going to increase only for the, and I'm sorry, not for the village, the other two taxes, approximately $417. And it will be even more than that with the village. Now, I've been in this house, I had it built in 1983, and I've been the only owner. Now, I've never had this situation happen before, and I'm sure that we've had assessments increases since then. And I don't understand why it went up so high. You know, I'm a senior now, retired, live on Social Security, and that's going to make a big impact on my living. You know, I don't know where this came from and how the difference can be. I have two neighbors that I reviewed theirs with them, and theirs went up about the same as mine did, but their taxes went down, and I don't understand that. You know, that's about what I have to say. I don't know what else to do.
Does anybody have any questions for Irene?
Irene, how many bedrooms
I have 3.
and 2 baths?
No, 1.5.
1.5. Thank you.
Anybody have any other questions? So
No.
the process is that we will deliberate as a board and get back to you by early July with the decision in writing from the town.
Now, what happens if I don't agree with it? What happens then?
There'll be instructions in that letter for what next steps could be.
Okay. So sometime in July, you said?
Yep, early July.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Irene.
you.
Thank you, Irene.
Thanks.
Oh, shoot, I just found the paper that had all the answers for.
Yeah, all the comps. I just found that too.
Yes, shoot.
Oh,
You
oh,
get-
it wasn't connected to.
No, that's okay.
No.
We use it when we deliberate, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Fine. How much time do we have? 440? Is he there yet? Robert Wills?
No, there's no one in the waiting room.
All right, I'm just gonna jump on a quick call. I'll be back.
Where's Vanderburg Street again? Is that over by you, John?
No, that's in Rhinecliff.
Oh, there you go.
It's right off of Kelly Street. It's the street right before Russell.
Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah.
I've got a phone number in the waiting room, 876-2298.
Yep, that's Bob, Bob Wills.
Okay,
Should we wait for Steve? Well, we need everybody.
yeah. He's a little early, 3 minutes. And I've also got Henry DeVries, who was the person after Bob Wills.
Sorry about that, guys.
We've
Is
got
anybody-
two waiting,
Sorry?
two waiting, Bob Wills and Henry
Oh.
DeVries.
All right, I'm ready.
Hello,
Hi,
Hello.
Bob Wills here.
welcome.
I hope you're all keeping cool.
Yeah, trying. So I'm going to read a quick oath for you to agree to, and then we're going to have about 10 minutes to go through your grievance. I'll give you a warning if we're still talking at 8 minutes into it, okay?
I didn't hear the first part of what you said.
There's just a quick oath that you have to agree to that we know you're
I
telling.
see,
the truth.
okay.
Right, so do you solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so?
I do.
Okay, great. Let's get started. Tell us about your grievance in the property and what your thoughts are.
Well, I had attached my supplemental information, item, part 2, item 7 from the RP 524 form. Do you have that in front of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What would you like me to explain regarding my part 2, item 7?
Well, I mean, can you talk us through why you believe that the assessed value is inaccurate and that a more accurate assessed value would be $375,000?
Yeah, yes, I thought I stated that, but I'll go over it here. So first of all, the condition, the quality of construction of the house, I think was overstated by the Tyler staff person. The condition as well, and that's compared to the way other adjacent houses are assessed in terms of construction, level of construction and quality. So like I said in my paragraph 5, I believe the grade of construction is more average to economy and not good. And like I said, I know some of you know me, Gina Fox. I know you know me. I'm a local architect. I designed the house here and built it myself. The addition that went on the house in 1993, and so I can certainly vouch for the frugal level of construction that went into this place. We were. My wife and I were just married, one child on the way, and we were trying to save as much money as we can. Given also that the renovation took place in 1993, it's now seeing quite a bit of aging, and I stated that as well, that I don't think the condition right now is
good, but more a lower level. Looking at comparable valuations around here, sales I'll talk about in a minute, but compared to the valuations of properties around me, my property is valued, the tentative valuation is much higher than any of the adjacent house tentative valuations. So I think that was rationale as well for lowering the assessment. And I think I picked a number that was slightly higher than the adjacent tentative valuations. The garage that we have was built in 2006, so that's of newer age than some of than the adjacent house garage. Although directly across the street, I think it's 11 Jones. They constructed their garage around the same time as we did as well, and their house is tentatively valued at $359,900. Another it wasn't so much confusing to me, but the land valuations. I know that things have certainly changed in the town of Rhinebeck over the past 25 or since the last valuation, but I compared the assessed value of the land of some adjacent properties, and this was information that the comparative sales report that Tyler had given me back in January, and it doesn't make sense that my land is valued at about $410,000 an acre when two of the three houses that are very close to me are valued at $164,000 and $186,000 an acre. So that I thought is another reason why the tentative valuation should be lowered. And then looking at comparative sales, these are some that came from the town sales report, and I believe other research I did with multiple listing. The average sale price of comparables was $313, and again, that's far below the $471, $400 that I was tentatively valued at.
Bob, I have a couple of questions. It's Gina. You came in and grieved in person, and they were reduced. Did you tell them all of these corrections at that time, specifically the effective construction date? Did you bring that up at that point?
It was no, I didn't, and I said that in my letter as well, that the point I made, and that was not advertised to me as a grievance, but as a preliminary meeting. So at that time, I just brought up the drainage. We have drainage problems at the end of our road here, and I have brought that up with Kathy Kinsella as well as our current highway superintendent, and he thought that was a rationale to lower what he did from 530 to 471. But he did not make any. I don't know if you have his notes there, but no, he did not take any of that into account. Any of this into account.
Okay, so
you.
I misspoke in calling it a grievance because this is obviously the grievance day. So
Right.
it was just a meeting. So it was already reduced from 530 to 471. And is there, I know your house, but I don't really know it. I've never been in it. Are there any views from the river from the upper stories?
No, there are not.
Okay, that's all.
No, we're 3 streets away, and there's no view of the river that we have.
Thank you, Bob.
So we're just about at 8.5 minutes. Does anybody else have any questions for Bob? Okay, great. So Bob, we're going to deliberate in the next week or two, and a decision will be made, and a letter will go out from the town to your address in early July.
In early July. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Well, I know you have a long rest of the day ahead of you, so keep the faith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hello?
Is Henry in the waiting room?
Yes, he is. Would you like me to admit him?
Is everybody ready?
I just want to finish reading this supporting letter. It'll give me 1 minute. Okay.
Okay. Let's let him in.
Hi, Henry.
Can you just unmute yourself on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen? There you go.
How's that?
That's great.
Perfect.
So we've got about 10 minutes to go through your grievance. Before we get started, I'm just going to read a quick oath for you to agree to.
Sure.
You solemnly affirm that the information you are about to give will be given accurately and truthfully to the best of your ability to do so.
Sure. Yes, I do.
Okay, great. Let's get started.
Okay, so I'm not sure what the format is for this, so maybe if you could enlighten me.
Well, why don't you walk us through your form, your grievance form, and supporting evidence of why you think the assessment is wrong?
Well, I think this was the same information that I highlighted when we went in for the first meeting in town with the consultant, and then again through the paperwork. The properties I'm being compared with, the comps are all in the Stortiniville area off of Knollwood Road. It's a unique community that really doesn't in any way compare to the location that I have here at the end of North Parsonage Street in Rhinebeck. I'm at the bleeding edge of the Dutchess County Fairgrounds. We're actually at the gate. We're at the end of what's basically a dead end, but isn't marked as a dead end. It shows as a no outlet. There's an old sign from before we moved here that's barely visible. We have dozens of cars a day making U-turns in front of our house. On a weekend, it's dozens of cars an hour during fairgrounds events when the gates are closed. There are vehicles that are trying to load in that can't, that get stuck making U-turns in front of the house. It's been a problem for years that I've brought to the village board's attention. There has been requests by other neighbors here for a stop sign at the northbound intersection of North Parsonage and Platt, and that was turned down. So it's a constant problem with heavy traffic, and that's notwithstanding when the fair is running an event and they have that gate open to traffic. It's just a very different environment than the bucolic neighborhoods where the Stortini houses are. Another unique aspect of this property is the way it was laid out. There's two houses on one lot here. The front door of the other house is 8 feet from the property line, so their front yard really is non-existent and is our backyard. And while we happen to get along well with our neighbors, this would definitely be an issue for if they moved or if we tried to sell our house, if someone realized the close proximity to the backyard, to the front door from our backyard of the neighbors. I mean, and I'm not exaggerating, it's about 8 feet. And finally, the other point that I made in the documents is that the dollar value on the houses that were sold that are comps are in the $500,000 range, and you've applied some formula that says that that value from 2017 is now in the mid to high 600s. I don't see any comparable houses to ours on that comp document that shows houses like mine being sold for the assessed value that you're laying on us. So between the traffic, the difference in the nature of the neighborhood, the proximity of the other house onto our lot, which is very strange that was actually ever approved that way, and the lack of true comps, I think that our property's been overvalued.
May I ask you about this layout with your and your neighbor's property? You said it was one lot. Is that still the case? Is it still one tax parcel?
No, it was split years before we came here. I moved here in 2006. We're the first owners of this house. The other family at number 67 are the first owners of that house. I think the same people who built the Stortini properties built these two houses and bought this and split the lot. If you came here, the neighbor's driveway goes along our property line, which is fine, but they have no front yard. They have a flag lot. Their backyard is where all of their space is, but their front door, if you take 2 steps off their front porch, you're in my backyard.
Yeah, I know the house. You're absolutely correct.
So it's just a unique situation, and if you pair the traffic, that situation, and the lack of true comps, show me a house like mine that is sold for what you've assessed us at, rather than applying some formula from a sale from 2017, that would be much more convincing to me. I don't think I could get what you've said that this place is worth. I haven't seen anybody sell a house like this for that much.
Henry, what was your prior assessment before the change? Do you have that? It's not written on here.
Not in front of me. I mean, we paid $470 back in 2006, and then the real estate market fell, and I think I had an assessment that was a little less than that. I don't remember exactly what it was now.
Well, how did you come up with the 575 number then?
I just think that's a more reasonable comparison to those other homes and what they actually sold for, taking into account our location and the different nature of here. I think that's what, if I was to try to sell this house, that would be a reasonable asking price. I don't think that I've seen anything sell in the high sixes that were of this style and composition.
Anybody else have any questions for Henry before we?
No, thank you.
Okay, so Henry, the next step in the process is for us to deliberate and come up with a decision, which the town will notify you by mail in early July.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you, Henry.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, that's it until 6 then, right?
Is it? Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, that's it.
No,
Nobody in the waiting room.
great.
Could be.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and.
So Fred, are you going to stop the live stream for a break?
Before you all disappear, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You have approximately 12 people who have not turned in for the 29th. Technically, on the 29th, it's after grievance day.
12 people for what? For Friday and Saturday?
No, just for Friday. For Saturday, I have another 5 of them that have not turned in their forms. Do you want me to do anything about it, or?
Do you have contact information for them?
I have emails.
I would just send them an email and say you have until 9 p.m. tonight to get your forms in.
Okay.
Yeah, one blank one to all of them, and that would be great.
I agree.
Yeah, that would help.
That's nice, and it's giving them another chance,
Okay.
but no driving to their house.
No.
I only do that for a big church, Gina. Oh, and Lisa?
Yes, ma'am.
The other one that you gave me to contact?
Uh-huh.
My email was in his junk.
Oh.
Yeah, that happens.
Not that you're
Eric?
junk. No, I didn't mean that, but
I didn't take it that way, but thanks for pointing that out.
it was kind of funny. Okay, I will do that
All right,
now.
guys, see you in an hour.
That made me blush, Donna. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Enjoy your dinners.
$12.93, and they both have appraisals attached. We have $12.91 right now.
So Donna, we're on break now.
So,
Yes,
SDR Fred till 6 o'clock.
Okay, got it.